Now that Eclipse is set up, I'm going to start by creating a very simple web service. This will give a good example of the basic setup required for a web service, and it can serve as a template for more advanced web services later on. Let's start by creating a new project that will contain the web service. Right-click on Project Explorer in the left sidebar of Eclipse, and choose New, and then Project. This will bring up a long list of different projects available for you. Depending on the plugins you have and how your computer is set up, you might already have a project type called JAXB. This project is specifically set up for web services, and it already has a lot of basic information contained within it. However, I think it's more useful to build the web service from scratch, because oftentimes you will need to change things around when implementing it. With this in mind, I'll go into the Web folder and choose to create a dynamic web project. This is a more general category that will allow me to design a web service from scratch. Then just click Next, and input any project name you want, and click Finish. Eclipse will automatically set up the project for you. In the new project, Eclipse has already generated a folder called JAX-WS, which is JAX Web Services, and this folder would contain any web services we have. But for our dynamic web project, this is blank. The first thing to do in the process of creating a web service is to create a Java server page, or JSP. Right-click on the project title and choose New, and then choose JSP file. This is a simple web page that will be used to display the web services that are created in this project. The content for this page is written in HTML, so you can customize it as you would any other HTML document. For the purposes of this tutorial, I'll just add in a custom title. To test the page, just right-click on it in the Project Explorer and choose Run As, and then choose to run it on the server. From here, you should be able to select the previous server and click Finish, and then it will automatically publish this page to the server and start the server up. If you run into problems with this, one potential cause is if your server has a relative rather than an absolute path. If you do have that trouble, right-click on your server, choose Properties, and then under Glassfish, check your domain directory. It should be an absolute path, which means that it will start with C/ then wherever you put it. If you don't see this, then you can simply use the Browse button to manually find where you stored your Glassfish. Now we can get into the coding of the basic web service. Right-click the project name again and choose to create a new class. The two boxes that you need to fill in here are the name of the package and the name of the class itself. Then you can just click Finish. Within this class, I will add a very simple method called hello that just takes in a string and returns the string hello followed by the input. So I'd write public string hello, and then I would just return hello plus the input. For any web service, your code must contain 3 essential elements. First, you must designate your web service as a web service. This is done using the annotation @webService directly before your class designation. When I put this in, I will have to import it, so I'll just import javax.jws, and that means that Java will now look into this annotation package and understand that everything that follows is a web service and should be treated in a certain way. Second, you must have a public constructor class that takes no inputs. This will be used to actually build your web service. For this demo, I'll just add the line public void constructor and leave the method blank. Once you have these two things, you can add in the third essential element, the actual code. For Java EE, this code uses the same coding conventions and has essentially the same functions as Java. However, it could just as easily be C++ or .NET code in a different environment. For this example, I've just created a very simple method that takes in a string and returns that string with hello in front of it. Now we're ready to deploy our code on a server.